Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's session. Um, I'm Lesuktula Dumisa. I work for the city under the Office of Strategic Management, and I will be your host today. Today's Brown Break session will focus on green economy. Or let me first show myself so that you'll see who you're talking to. Once again, guys, as I've said, today's Brown Break session will focus on the green economy and how young people seek innovative ways of dealing with current economic issues using innovative strategies and sustainable practices that promotes economic growth while mitigating climate. So we will welcome our first speaker, which is Ms. Zamaskiti, a grade 10 learner from Anthony Lembede Maths, Science and Technology Academy. She is inspired by the city's diverse ecosystem and the city's need to address environment challenges. So I'll just hand over to Zama. Welcome, Zama, and you may start presenting. Zama.
Greetings to everyone who is on this call watching. As Leto has already said, I'm Zama Church Wiskiti, but most people know me as Uzama Church. So before I get into my presentation, I'd like to clear out on the method in which I went about doing this presentation. So instead of focusing of mainly on the economy, I chose to focus on the innovative ways that we can use to uplift our economy while still being eco-conscious. So that's how I'm going to present my Green Initiative 2030. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can, Zama.
Okay, cool. So before we jump right into our actual project, I want us to take a look at Durban currently. Now, if you go by the harbor, you can see palm trees. The harbor is as clear as day. It looks beautiful. Like if you take a good look, it looks like a postcard from Miami. But as soon as you enter, sorry, I have a problem with my presentation. The picture's unloading. Yes. As soon as you turn and enter our CBDs or go further into Durban, you find pollution. Instead of palm trees, you find garbage trees that are now lining our roads, accompanied by us no longer the smell of the harbor, but a stinking smell of dilapidating buildings, the pollution that's in the air, in the land, and even in our sewage and water. So my school chose to come up with a project called Green Initiatives 2030, where this is us saying our initiatives and saying our proposed Green Durban for 2030. Now, you may be wondering why I chose a Green Durban and what is a Green City. So, as it says here, a Green City is a testament to humanity's resilience and our commitment to nurturing the earth that nurtures us. A pledge a pledge etched in every leaf and every stem, we aim to create a green oasis city with sustainable electricity production and disaster inflatable and eco-friendly management systems, which promote self-efficiency and self-reliance. I think just defining what green city is, it already goes with the topic of today. So yeah, so as I continue with the project and explaining it, I'm going to also touch on how it helps the economy while still keeping Durban green and keeping Durban clean and moving forward to Durban becoming green. So in our green city, we chose to further implement things that have already been implemented already and to further add emphasis on these things, as well as bringing in new technologies like our disaster management systems and biomass energy. Now, back on the initiatives, we want to see Durban have public transport. The way this is going to a lot of public transport and making public transport cleaner, safer, and more efficient for the people of Durban, for Durban. So we want to see this because obviously having public transport, it already increases the job opportunities for people in South Africa, since people have to drive those cars. And also it's going to decrease the amount of carbon emissions we release by our cars all the time, every day, going to work, going to a store, close by distances, long distances. So it already helps with our environment while still helping our economy. As much as public transport is like looked down on, or there's a certain status quo, not say it's called status that goes with people who take public transport, but in reality it really helps us as Durban, because we are as Durban and as South Africa, because we are then releasing less carbon emissions into our environment. And another initiative we want to implement further is electric vehicles. As I said, it's a certain status that goes with the public transport system in South Africa. So why not at least use electric vehicles? So we stopped using the fuels, and I'm sure we all understand the electric vehicles. I have an image here. Really like know what electric vehicles are from we've seen through Tesla. So using these electric vehicles instead of using cars that use fuel to decrease our carbon emissions in South Africa and Durban more specifically. Then obviously we have cycling and walk paths, because cycling and walk paths, as I said, short or long distance, people still use their cars, and that still releases a lot of carbon emissions into our environment. Why not cycle to close by distances to work, or have multiple walk paths that can help people get to these places instead of walking directly on the roads? This again helps create more jobs for the people who are going to do this, and also it helps our economy be stable. Instead of everyone relying on one source or one way to get to places, we have a variety of different methods of transportation and getting somewhere that is safe and reliable for the people of Durban and South Africa. We also want to add green buildings. Now, green buildings is something that's not really implemented in South Africa as of yet, but there are many countries that have implemented it and are successful in it, and it's working for them amazingly. For example, Singapore. Basically, green buildings are these buildings I have on the top corner of my presentation. Basically, it's a normal building, but growing plants with the building, not with the building, but on the building, and it's different to just planting a plant for yourself in your house, but then you have a whole section, basically an apartment. Instead of the roof being an activity area, the roof is a garden, and it just has a lot of plants that's obviously releasing oxygen into our atmosphere, and canceling out all the carbon emissions. This again promotes job opportunities for people of Durban who are going to be doing these things. So moving on to our technologies. So other than the initiatives that we want to put in place that are really there in South Africa, just not mainly, we want to have a new disaster management system. Now, the picture I'm showing here is our model that we presented last year in September on our Science Day. We call this model TechFlexi. So what TechFlexi does is, since we understand that in KZN we are a clear example of the damage effects of climate change. We've seen this in our KZN floods. So this machine called TechFlexi, basically, it has suction pipes. It's basically a small, not small, but a small size, medium-sized machine that's going to be put in areas that are prone to flooding, in the sewage areas or the places that are prone to flooding, or somewhere along the road. And the machine has suction pipes, so it's going to suck in all the water that is coming in from the rain in the floods, and instead of it all going to our sewage lines that are already kind of blocked, it goes into this machine. And it doesn't just go here and it's set back into the ocean. No, it's stored in this machine, or it's taken to another storage site for water. Or since we have multiple technologies in our project, we decided to make it move to our biomass, which I'm going to explain later. Now, this TechFlexi is going to help South Africa a lot, because we've seen the damage that the floods have done in KZN, to be specific. And being born and bred in Durban, it's really hard to see a place that was so beautiful now become like a ghost town. So this machine could really help us, and it's obviously it needs people to build it. And I think the way in which we can improve our economy as South Africa is just by creating jobs, not just, but mainly by creating jobs for the people of South Africa, and us coming up with new innovations and new ways to solve the issues that we're facing in South Africa when it comes to global warming, climate change, and pollution. I think it opens doors for multiple jobs to be created in different fields. Our next technology we have is biomass. So this a biomass energy machine. Basically, instead of instead of using the traditional ways of renewable energy, which is using, your wind, your water, your solar panels, we chose to use waste in a sense. So yes, using the water that we got from the Tex Flexi to spin our turbine and to do the whole shabam, that the process for making electricity. We also use a lot of the plastic and the waste that we throw in sites, and just combine those and heat that up so that can spin a turbine, rather than using fresh water that can be used for other things. So this is how our projects work hand in hand. And again, making this machine a reality for Durban, it opens many job opportunities again, and as well as it opens it gives the people of South Africa a vast choice on how they want the energy that's coming to their home to be created. Then we all don't rely on one central business for our electricity, not putting a strain on our economy. Going back to this project, the person in this picture is Bonolo Khanani, another member of our team. We were a group of 8 making this project. We had initially it was 3 different projects. It was Green Durban, Tech Flexi, and the biomass projects. But we combined them because we saw that all of these things can be implemented in one Green Durban initiative for 2030. So yeah. Before I end off, I want us to also understand that as much as it's really hard for us to look at Durban or see Durban a better place because of how Durban is right now, or it's hard to really understand the challenges or the effects of climate change that other people are facing because we're not living the reality. But it's very important for us to put ourselves in those shoes so that we can see and find ways and different methods to help those people and innovate different ideas, innovate different technologies, ideas, or anything that could help us not only lift up our economy but save our Durban, because Durban is vast with different ecosystems and different habitats for different animals. So it's very important for us to take care of our Durban. And it's very heartbreaking to see Durban, our CBD, with many dilapidated buildings, whereas we have the youth, as the youth we are able to make new methods of always renewing these buildings, or a different way of urban planning that can make our buildings last long instead of dilapidating. This is obviously going to help our economy in many ways because it's then reducing its cost in maintenance, but it's because it's going to have a quality infrastructure that's built. So I'd like us as the youth, obviously not to just be the ones to come up with these ideas, but the ones to implement these ideas since they're our ideas, and to ensure that our home, Durban, and South Africa vastly, to not be another tale, that a place that was once so beautiful but now so, not the same standards. Let us keep our standard in being beautiful Durban, and let's fix the places we can fix before it becomes too late. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zama, for this beautiful presentation. Um, the solution that Zama is talking about, they are very beautiful, and they might transform Durban for the better. And this solution will also boost our tourist attraction. So thank you very much, Zama. Now I will move on to my next speaker, which is Miss Alicia Shandu, a grade 10 learner from Senzo Kwetsu Secondary School. Alicia is an enthusiastic, assertive, goal-driven person who believes in principle of work hard and let success speak for you. She participates in peer leaders program which foster develop development of skill leaderships. Thank you. You may take over, Miss Alicia Shandu.
Greetings to all. My name is Alicia Shandu, and I'm one of the peer leaders who went to Germany to mainly speak about climate change and mostly speak about global warming. So I stand in front of you today in order to talk about the green economy. So that's why we're all here, to talk about the green economy. So I apologize for not having slides or points to present with, but I'm pretty sure that you understand and hear exactly what I mean in this meeting today. So if we talk about the green economy, we're mainly talking about growth in employment and income, which are driven by public and private investments into such economic activities. So by having this green economy, it can mainly open up many chances in South Africa and many other countries. So, infrastructure and assets allow reduced carbon emissions and pollution, enhanced energy and resource efficiency, and prevention of the loss of biodiversity and ecosystem systems. So, in order to mainly understand this in an easier way, is to say it's a growing economic activity which leads to investment, jobs, and competitiveness in the green industry sector. So we have different types of green economies. For example, we have the solar, wind, hydroelectric, and hydrogen, which generates little or no amounts of CO2 emissions. So as you know, here in Durban or South Africa or any other country, we both know that there are different types of transports that we use, and they also reduce these types of emissions. But then, as Zama said, I really like the points where like we should take a stand as the youth. But then, in my opinion, I also see that even if it's not the youth, a lot of other people who want to take a stand can actually do something. So, as we're speaking today, we have many types of principles of a green economy. So we have public involvement, social dialogue, informed content, openness, and accountability, which are prioritized in civil life. The global status quo is being transformed by the green economy on a universal scale. So, meaning not only Durban or South Africa is actually developing in such things or making the green economy grow even more, but a lot of other countries are actually profiting and benefiting from all this. So by doing this, making this green economy grow even more, we're not only making a sustainable future for us, but for the future generations, but for the animals that live till this day. We have resource efficiency and green purchasing. For example, in order to achieve a green economy, because as we see, it's not only Durban or South Africa who has this green economy. Many other countries don't have this. So what can they do in order to achieve or create a green economy? In order to do this, we should reduce the cost of running local governments, reduce the cost of doing business for existing green businesses, lower barriers of entry for new green businesses. We should try to reduce utility costs for homeowners, improving community quality of life, and attracting a stronger workforce. Because if we don't have a stronger workforce, unfortunately, we won't be able to achieve or grow a green economy. In the green economy, we have different types of green skills. Some of them, if I may include them, include technical knowledge, expertise, and abilities that enable the effective use of green technologies and processes in professional settings. So we see that it's not only local transportations or etc. that might benefit in this green economy. But in order to grow it, in order to achieve it, we should try using technical knowledge. Because as you know, from this time, we're using technology. Different types of projects are being built because of technology. So by the usage of technological knowledge and expertise and different types of abilities, we'll be able to grow and achieve green economy. So by learning by these green skills, green economy, and learning about different types of abilities that we could have, we can grow an economical green environment. So as I stand in front of you today, green economy is the most important topic we're talking about. I keep repeating green economy because it's a very important topic, as of where it focuses and it includes us all as an economy, environment, and the animals as well. As we know, in a green economy or green environment, not humans only live there, but animals do. Many animals have been extinct due to recklessness and many things, including pollution as well. Some animals are at stake here and leading to extinction because we're not being careful of what we're doing. By growing our green economy, we can make a lot of opportunities, not only for the animals, but for many job opportunities. Many people suffer not finding jobs or knowing where to build because they don't have a green economy. Instead, pollution is being found. Factories are releasing dangerous chemicals that affect our green economy. So how are people expecting us to actually grow a green economy if we don't take a stand? So many people, for example, countries have renewable energy. For example, Denmark is ranked as a green country in the world ever since 2022 with an overall score of 77.9. So we can see that we're not the only country trying to make a difference by growing or achieving this green economy, but instead, what we're doing actually encourages the other countries to take a stand by making many countries, people, businesses, factories knowing exactly the importance of the green economy. We will actually succeed. By making this known to various places, it'll grow our green economy. Actually reducing or increasing, it must not take a stand more importantly in making a difference. But then we should think about the effects, the impacts of what growing or achieving the green economy might achieve. So, in order for you all to understand about what I'm trying to talk about, it's mainly that the green economy plays an important role. We're surrounded by a bunch of green things, trees, plants, etc. You name it. Animals live there, people plant there, people live there. So if you think about it, what would we do? What would we be without the green economy? So now, as you can see, the green economy is the most subject or topic we should talk about and let other people know about. It helps in prevention of loss of biodiversity and ecosystems services. So the services that we have may actually have a positive impact and effects, not only to us, the people, not to businesses, not to animals as well, but it can make really big difference. It can help our country grow even more. It can help the other countries develop different types of ideas, projects, developments, and strategies. And actually, in many types of schools, kids are doing a lot. They wouldn't expect kids to have so many ideas. So now we can see that the youth has a lot of ideas right here. They're thinking of how they could actually develop their country's needs and grow the economic green economy. So we can see that by giving this chance to make a difference, not only for the animals, not only for businesses, but let's make a difference for our country. Let's make a difference knowing that not only us will benefit, but the youth as well. Because as the youth are teaching, making a difference by doing all these things, they know that there will be a very, very good outcome. So I hope that you learned a lot from today regarding the green economy, benefits, the impacts, and how it could actually change our lives, but also animals, businesses, people, and us as the youth. Because as students are bringing awareness out there, as there are peer leaders, as children are actually going to different types of countries, they're not going there just to have fun or just to explore, but they know that they have a use in this country. They know that what they're actually doing won't only benefit them, but will benefit a lot of people. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alicia. Thank you. The presentation was excellent. Thank you. And I like the fact that you kept on highlighting green economy. Uh, this it is very important to keep our animals alive, since you can see even the rhinos are becoming almost extinct and other animals. So keeping the green economy is very important. And also, I like how you highlighted the renewable energy in Denmark. That was an excellent idea. Now I'm gonna move on and introduce Miss Vanessa Nzimande. We welcome Miss Vanessa Nzimande, a young student who's currently studying BA in Environmental Management at University of South Africa. She has been involved in the amazing work regarding climate change. So let's us welcome Vanessa Ndimande to share the work she has been involved in. Thank you.
Okay, good day, everyone. I hope we are all good and we are all enjoying the session. I would like to please just switch off my camera, but my mic will remain on. Yeah. So, yeah, as introduced, my name is Vanessa Thandolenko Nzimande, and I'm a qualified environmental education practitioner, and I'm currently studying BA in environmental management at the University of South Africa. So after I matriculated, unfortunately, I couldn't further my studies at the institution that I was accepted in due to financial issues. But fortunately enough, after applying, I was one of the 14 young people that were aged between 18 to 25 who were selected to be part of a 2-year project, and it was called the Bremen Durban Marine Environmental Education Network. It was also known as the Ocean Champions or Ocean Champs. So this project was jointly implemented by eThekwini Municipality and the Free Hanseatic City of Bremen, which is based in Germany, as a part of their climate change partnership, like between these two sister cities. So this project was youth focused, and through roundtable discussions, workshops, and other environmental gatherings, it strived to empower more youth around the eThekwini Metro to take an active role in the protection of the sea and the reduction of marine plastic pollution to ultimately influence the rates of climate change. So we mainly focused on marine conservation and plastic reduction in the oceans. We also participated in influencing policy and decision makers to make marine protection a priority. And in 2019, in one of the activisms that we were involved in, we successfully achieved one of our goals, which was to influence the Department of Environmental Affairs to increase marine protected areas in the country from 0.4% to 5%. And now it lands us to the 41 marine protected areas that we have around the country. So as we were working under the Environmental Planning and Climate Protection Department, we couldn't just solely focus on the marine because they deal with different ecosystems. So we also got involved in the conservation and the protection of biodiversity and the different ecosystem the department focuses on. We also formed partnerships with with other environmental organizations such as Wild Ocean, SAMBRA, and WESA for knowledge sharing and establishing environmental movements. So the network that we were in also involved school teachers whom got an opportunity to further their knowledge about the ocean through training of the trainers program. And we also involved the grade 8 and 9 learners from different schools around our municipality. They got involved in ocean-based workshops, trainings, and beach cleanups. And this was to mainly just encourage them to take an interest in marine education studies or environmental studies in whatever future studies that they wanted to do in grade 10, 11, and 12. So the Bremen Durban Ocean Championship program directed not only myself, but some of my former colleagues that we were in the program with into furthering our studies and involvement in the environmental field. And it also influenced us to become freelancers in the tourism industry. So we done some trainings, which included introduction to project management, and we qualified NQF level 4. And then we also done a short course in Nature Site Guide, which was NQF level 2. So with that, you could freelance in either the environmental industry or the tourism industry, or maybe like whoever that wants it at that time or even now can just start their own businesses to, just guide whichever tourists that come into Durban. So environmental programs like the one that I was involved in under the municipality are very beneficial because they provide opportunities for education, raising awareness amongst local communities. And they also foster a sense of empowerment and ownership, which lead to people from different communities to become stewards of their natural resources. So, for example, we'd go to communities or schools to teach community members or teach school children about the different environmental issues that we're facing as a city and what they could do, like innovative methods that they could do to try and combat the issues that we are facing. And with them, some of them I still visit the communities and I'm still in contact with them. So I'd go to particular schools to help out if they still need help. And you'd find that other schools have formulated enviro clubs to continue with the work that we have in a way taught them or helped them to start, which shows that they also are interested in such improvements, and they also want to combat the issues that we are facing in the city. So becoming stewards for your own environment results in behavioral changes because people start adopting to eco-friendly habits. Like myself, since 2018, I haven't been using a plastic straw. So I'm 6 years into this thing. So I don't use plastic straws, even if when I'm buying something or at a restaurant, it's either I carry my own metal one or my plastic one, which I get home, I wash and I reuse. And I try by all means to avoid purchasing single-use plastic bags because of the impact that it causes, especially in the ocean when it is not disposed of correctly. And I think Alicia did mention this, that Alicia Ozama, they mentioned it in their presentations, that when you're looking at pictures from like here in Durban back in the day, we had everything was clean, but now our streets, our oceans, it's just filled with single-use plastic, especially filled with straws, and they it's the things that decrease our biodiversity because animals get entangled. Some animals they swallow, and they end up not being able to eat food because now they think they're eating these plastics, they think that it's food, and they end up suffocating and dying. So, in conclusion, the Earth has adequate resources to meet the needs of the present and future generations if used sustainably. Therefore, we need to foster long-term economic growth. We need to protect the biodiversity, and we need to preserve our environment and mitigate climate change. Prevention, prevention is always better than cure, and there is no planet B. So we need to work together as the youth and adults to try and save our environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. That was very fruitful, and I like the fact that you were able to explore things outside the country, and you were able to bring it home and also help others in creating awareness. So I think we should have sessions like this more frequently or more often, since they are very productive. Maybe one day we could have something like this televised. Like back in the days, there used to be a show called Salt Buddies. They used to cater for similar things. So in the near future, if we can, if our government or the city can try to come up with something like that to motivate kids at school to indulge in these things. So thank you very much, Vanessa, for that great presentation. So now I'm gonna move on to my last speaker, and then after my last speaker, we can have a Q&A. Uh, you can raise your hand during the Q&A, or you can write in the chat the questions that you may like to know, or a comment or a compliment. Yeah. Then now I'm gonna move on to Miss Ali Zwamajikeja for closing remarks. So in closing, we will welcome a young person from eThekwini municipality, Miss Ali Zwamajikeja is Miss Ali Zwamajikeja is a graduate from Climate Change and Biodiversity Department. She'll briefly share what the city of eThekwini has been doing on the climate change sector. Welcome, Miss Alizwa. You can start your presentation. Thank you.